to the OhioRAAM Show.
Well, hello, everyone. It's Lee Kreider here with another episode of the OhioRAAM Show. As you can see, Jim Lawyer isn't with us. He's down in Lebanon, Ohio at some indoor time trials. He's trying to get online, but apparently the internet where he's at isn't working too well. And also, he was trying then going out and get on cell. Hopefully he'll show up here maybe because I do miss him. And so it's up to me, and we'll try to do this right. The OhioRAAM Show is a show about ultra cycling and all things cycling, whatever subject hits our mind at the moment. And we come to you. I'm not going to try to display all these wonderful graphics that Jim does. Just takes too much button pushing on my end, but we come to you because of the wonderful people who run the Race Across America time stations here in Ohio. Time stations 41 in Oxford, 42 in Blanchester, 43 in Chillicothe, which is Jim's time station. And we also want to mention Mike, the sign man, who puts out these wonderful signs here in Indiana and Ohio. I know people who have done the Race Across America really appreciate them. You can help Mike, because he does this out of his own pocket, by sending him a few bucks. And if you go to the OhioRAAMshow.com, you'll see a link on the right-hand side of the page there where you can donate to Mike. Send him a couple of bucks. He would appreciate it. And it all goes right directly to him. We take no fee out of this whatsoever. We just want to see this program continue. It's very expensive for him. And you come by the time station, we'll make a deal with you to get a sign for $10, and that puts one on the road. So keep that in mind. We want to thank all of you who are following us on Facebook. If you're not, please do. And for subscribing on YouTube. And when you subscribe on YouTube, be sure to ring that bell there so you'll get notice of when shows are happening. We appreciate that. We've gained some subscribers recently. We appreciate that. Comments and questions. For those of you out there, we hope that you are on Facebook or on YouTube. We'll just go down there to the comments section of the show and put in a comment and tell us where you're from, and we'll appreciate that a great deal. Have some sad news for us this week. Many of you know Lisa Brunkhorst, who is one of the spark plugs that makes Time Station 41 in Oxford happen. She's also a RAAM veteran herself. We want to give our condolences upon the death of her husband, Dr. Rolf Brunkhorst. He was ill for a long time. He was a pilot. He stayed active as he could right up until he couldn't any longer. And we send her our condolences. She's done a wonderful job down there in Oxford with the Golden Tries, and our best to Lisa as she faces this situation. Next week, we are going to have Martin Landsman on from Denmark. Well, he's actually here in the United States, but he is representing Denmark on the Race Across America next year. And we're going to be glad to have him with us on this show. That said, let's stream more than halfway around the world to Perth, Australia, and bring in our good friend Sabine Bird. Sabine, how are you this morning?
Hello, I'm really well, and good evening from Perth rather than good morning.
Well, I always like to say it's the most remote city on earth. I should say it's most remote from us here in Dayton, Ohio. And Sabine, I can't let this moment pass, but you know, you have little delightful moments in life that you always remember. And one of those is when you and your husband was crossing back across the United States after the Race Across America in your RV, on I-70, and you stopped here in Inglewood, and we had a delightful coffee or snack or something. I don't remember what that wasn't important, but we certainly had a delightful time with a little break for you, and it was such a treat for me.
It was definitely a really nice catch up, and I'm pretty sure I had the 2 bagels, the shake, and probably another cookie on top of it, while you probably only had the coffee.
Okay. Well, yeah, it was such a great time. And I'd like to say for Jim and myself both, anybody who's crossing I-70 across the United States here, and just give us a holler. And we're both within a jig or so of I-70. Actually, either one of us could be there in a couple of minutes. We'd love to just have a little coffee. We've got some neat coffee spots around here, and we would enjoy that, Sabine. So
just
Sabine,
be mindful if we meet you again at that same coffee shop. There is a tree in the car park, and I do remember that the RV got a little bit of a shaking there because we parked way too close to that tree. So stay away from the trees in the car park.
Well, we were going to meet at the famous Tim Hortons chain. Those of you in Canada know Tim Hortons very well, but for some reason they were closed, and we had to go somewhere else. But we went to Panera, which wasn't our plan, but it was okay.
It was good.
Yeah. Well, we originally wanted to have you on here, Sabine, to talk about what you're doing there in Western Australia in developing cycling. But since that time, something else happened. You got involved in the virtual world time trial championships, didn't you?
Yes, I did. That was a little bit spontaneous, but I'm glad I did it. It was a very painful event, but at the time. But yeah, it was well worth it. And it was a great little competition with Joanna from New Zealand. And we fought it out there with everything we had. Pretty exciting.
Well, I believe you actually won it over Joanna, didn't you?
Yeah, it happened in the end, but mind you, it's only by a few kilometers over the 24 hours.
It was pretty close, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a neck-on-neck race
there.
Well,
I would like to tell you that we have surprise visitors pop up here at the OhioRAAM show from time to time. They just walk in the studio. And I would like to tell you that Joanna Sharp is here in the studio, and she wants to say hello. I would like to tell you that, but I can't, because Joanna is out doing qualifying for Paris right now this weekend, so she can't be with us, but she sent us this.
Morena, Sabine, it's Joanna here, just dialing in to say hi. Sorry I can't be on your chat, but kia ora to everybody who's watching. I'm currently in the middle of Brevet, my final qualifier for Paris-Brest Paris. So I'm here in Morrinsville, home of the cows, and just wanted to say hello. It's been a week of floods and earthquakes here in New Zealand, but I'm hoping you get to come over here later in the year and we get to say hi to each other. Just wanted to say massive congratulations for everything you do. I can't wait to watch the podcast and hear more about the amazing work you do with the Cycling Foundation over there in Perth. So hello and congratulations on all your amazing achievements this year, and I can't wait to see you soon, I hope. See ya.
Oh, that's lovely. That's very nice. She's a
Isn't
great
it, though?
girl.
And she's in front of that cow. I think, is it New Zealand or is it Australia that's worried about cow burping?
About cow
burping, giving off methane.
Yeah, methane. Yeah, I believe Australia is definitely a little bit worried about that, but we do love our beef way too much. We're not going to give that up in a hurry. Neither is New Zealand. But that's true. We're working on our climate change efforts, and that will certainly be part of it. There's some research going on, actually, how to make them less burpy.
Okay, let's have some comments. There's some people out there. Just give us a comment or a question or say hello to us. Tell us where you're at. It's very early in the morning here in the United States. I was afraid maybe Jim hadn't got up, but he's up. He just can't get on. Um, so tell us a little bit about, first of all, your cycling background, Sabine, how you got into it and some of the things you've been doing.
Look, to keep it brief, I've always been riding my bike, but in the many last years, I've been riding a little bit more intensively with the intention of doing as many endurance events that I can. It's a bit difficult coming from Perth. We are, as you already mentioned, the most isolated city in the world, so we have to travel a fair bit to get to events. But we have the odd event here in Australia, so I've done quite a few 24-hour races. That's the extent to what we have here. But I want to get more and more into maybe the unsupported races and maybe even gravel races. But anything endurance is probably what I like. I like the little bit of pain and for the few days and the reward afterwards. But other than that, I've been with the Cycling Development Foundation for quite some time now, quite a few years, where we sometimes race in a team or individually, and it's just a lot of fun. All sorts of races, not just endurance.
I remember you've been on the show a couple of times and you've done some reporting for us.
Yes.
I remember you reported on one of the Revolve, I think the Revolve 24 or 24 Revolve, whatever it is in England. Yeah. And we appreciated that. But I think I remember you saying that you enjoyed that early morning situation where you had to dig yourself out of the dark hole of whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did. That was a few years ago now. That's true. That like the deep hole that you get into at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And the sunrise is so far away, but you know it's not far. And that slow crawl out of the hole is like, it's kind of an exciting time. It's a bit like looking into the abyss, knowing that you will never actually fall into the abyss. It's an exciting time. That's when I gain all my energy. And as soon as the first sunlight comes, it's an amazing time, because that's when all the energy comes back.
Yes, that comes from experience, you know.
Yeah.
Dark times, you think, you know, things are pretty bleak now, but your experience tells you it's going to get better.
Yes, absolutely.
You've been through this. You've been through this before. You know that despite how it feels, it will get better.
Yeah.
The wind will turn around sometime. The storms will end. But yeah,
yes, so to speak. Not always, but they do sometimes. At least you always survive in the end.
Sabine, like I said, the reason we got you on here, we were watching on Facebook and so forth, the things you're doing with development there in Perth. Tell us a little bit about the Cycling Development Foundation and what you're about there. And you've got a pretty significant event coming up.
So yeah, with this Cycling Development Foundation, we try to we take care of juniors, trying to the ambitious ones that are trying to get onto a high level of cycling. We also take care of a national road series team. But then one of the pillars that the foundation takes care of is community work. And we go out into the outback about once a month, where we run a cycling project for an indigenous community, which is about 1,000 kilometers into the desert from Perth. We've done it for quite some time now, quite a few years. And it's a fantastic project, and we've been fully embraced by the community. So what happens is we drive out there, we take some bikes with us, but we also left a few there over the years. We try and do some bike maintenance with them, try to teach them basic skills. We also try to do road safety sessions, or just go for the odd ride into the country. They have like the surrounding area, they have little bush trails there, so we just try and take them for a little trail run, and just let them have some fun and experience some freedom, because obviously they can't drive, they're way too young, and at least this is a way for them to get out and visit their own sites. We also try to engage the school a little bit, where we have like indoor sessions. We just try to make it an all-round cycling experience whenever we can. And I must say the feedback has been quite overwhelming. Like the kids love bike riding, and every time you ask someone why that is, they said, "Oh, at least I feel I can get somewhere. It's free. It's fun. It's freedom." And they just enjoy doing it. So the problem over there in the country is that they have a lot of thorns and like thorny bushes. So they have a lot of flats. So we try to change the tires out with thorn-proof tires and little extra liners, inner tube liners, just to make them as thorn-proof as possible. Little things like this, we just try to establish over the years. And this year is pretty exciting because this year I'm trying to give the whole program a bit more of a spin. We're trying to incorporate a bit of a whole year learning experience about themselves, about some self-awareness, to use bikes as a tool to teach them how to teach other peers and other youth certain skills, or even within the bike mechanical area. And use the bikes, for example, to go out into the bush and have a little yarn, a little discussion about themselves, and talk about positivity, friendship, bit of perseverance, all these things. And then we want to use bikes as a tool to encourage them to do all these things. So that's the program, and we've been very lucky and very grateful to have received quite a bit of support from sponsors as well, so that we can actually run the program. And every time we get up there, we bring some fruits as well, because it's very difficult to get fresh fruits where they live. So we give them little treats like that, keep it as healthy as possible, and just make it an all-around wholesome experience as best as we can. That's the whole program in a nutshell.
Sounds like it keeps you pretty busy.
Very much so indeed. Once a year, we have a big charity ride in September, and we try and get people together to ride from Perth to Laverton in 8 days, which is about 150 kilometers a day. And we see different spots along the way that simply resembles our countryside. Try to meet up with different elders in the areas that tell us about their country and about their history. And when we get into Laverton, we try to align it with a little festival that they put on for us as well. It's just trying to incorporate the whole Laverton experience into our busy work schedule and our normal lives here, which is obviously very different to the countryside. And I mean remote desert countryside. It's very different.
Well, if you'd like to learn more about that, you can go to the OhioRAAMshow.com website, and under this video, there's show notes, and you'll find a link to that ride that Sabine was telling you about. Also, that'll be the website for the foundation she's mentioning here. Appreciate that. Also, you've been involved in women's cycling in Perth. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, that's another keeping busy indeed. Yeah, we also run women's only sessions, bike sessions in Perth, mostly from beginners level to intermediate level, where anyone can start with any ability level. And we just try to encourage them. We just want more and more women out there, or as many as possible. Cycling has taken off a little bit since COVID anyway, and we just want to empower more women to not just ride their bikes, but also be confident in like taking care of them, and just be confident in just doing things that I might not have done before. And we had some great stories where the other day we had the first time that one of the ladies rode her bike to work. So she wants to become a commuter. Or we had someone that couldn't actually ride a bike at all, and we started teaching them from scratch. And then we had some people that were actually quite ambitious and are now racing in little local races. So we had the whole spectrum of people, and it's just great to see. And they just stick with it, and they hang in there, and whatever goal they have, that's what we're trying to encourage for them to achieve. And it's been a nice experience for sure. It's very different to the community project, but it just plays hand in hand at the end of the day. It's good.
Well, I know this isn't your goal, but let me ask, among these Indigenous people, these children and youth, and among your women there in Perth, you got any real talent coming out of it, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, some of these kids have incredible talent. But the challenge is to bring that to Perth and make them stay here. And yeah, I mean, there's some serious talent. It's just to bridge the distance to come to the big city is that's the big challenge for us. But to be honest, we did something amazing last year where we brought 5 teenage boys over and they did a little bike race here in Perth. We combined it with an entire weekend of learning about all sorts of life skills. And that was a tremendous experience. And we're trying to do that more often and more regularly. And that's the aim for this year as well, so that we can just step up a little bit and build on what we've done so far. But as you know, with every program and project that you run, it takes time and patience to progress. And at this stage, our goal is to just improve that little bit every single year. And one day, hopefully, it will grow into something very big and very important, whatever that is.
Hey, I'd sure like to see somebody make a comment out there. Is everybody asleep? Facebook or YouTube, right down there below, there's a comment section. Just say hello. I'm from wherever you're from. We'd love to hear from you. Or if maybe you've got a question or comment you'd like to make to Sabine, we'd just like to get a little action here from you guys. Help me out. I don't have my partner with me. Well, let's talk a little more about Sabine. What goals have you got for your future in the world of cycling?
I want to continue with as many ultra endurance events as possible. And one day, Lee, I want to go back to RAAM and finish off with my unfinished business from 2019. So I want to do the Race Across America again. But it might take a few years before I can get back into it. But it will be on one of my
It's on your radar.
Yeah, it's definitely on the radar, and I follow along every year. And I do admire the amazing riders out there, especially the women that finish these races with class too.
Maybe you found out what Shu Pillinger found out, that when you dot watch, you get less sleep than when you're actually racing.
Very true. Yeah, that is very true, actually. But to be honest, like just to have someone like Joanna from New Zealand around as a competitor is actually really inspiring as well, because when we race against each other, it's always neck on neck, but it's also friendly at the same time. And I like how the whole ultra endurance cycling is like so close together. Everyone is friendly, obviously, at the same time highly competitive, and we make friendships. And in the US and New Zealand, even in Europe, it's a great sport, and I'm not going to leave that sport in a hurry, that's for sure.
That's good. Hey, I want to get I'm sure that Joanna's going to watch this. I want to send a message out to her. Joanna, I thought I text you on WhatsApp about this, but we would really like to add you to our people we're following, getting ready for Paris-Brest Paris, and even to give us some reports from Paris. We'll talk more about how we pull that off. We're doing it a little different all the time. We're learning more about how to do this, Sabine. Yeah. So, Joanna, we'll be in touch. We want to try to get you involved in that as much as possible. That quadrennial event, which is not a race, but a randonneur, brevet, whatever you call it. And I've been learning a lot more about the randonneur. You ever done any of that kind of thing, Sabine?
No, I haven't. I always need that slightly more competitive edge. I'm still at that point where I just need someone that I can race against.
You want some competition.
Yeah, I'm still there.
Well, I think there might be a little bit in that, even though, anytime two people are out riding together, there tends to be a race involved, of some sort.
As long as there's friendly coffee afterwards, definitely, yes.
Yeah, there's a coffee or something afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely have a few goals on the horizon that I want to train up for. It's just the ultra endurance scene is quite a time-consuming sport, so it's a bit difficult to bring it all together with work and other life that's also there. But yeah, it will happen eventually. I might join. I might do the same thing that Joanna does and just try to beat her time or something.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it's quite involved to get first of all to be able to
oh,
get
yeah.
in the process and to get prepared for it as well.
Oh yeah, no, she did an amazing job just to do all of
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
do admire her work a lot.
Hey, everybody, if you'd like to learn more about Sabine and what she's doing there and follow her, you can go to the OhioRAAMshow.com website, and on there you'll find a link to her Facebook page. I think that's probably the best way to follow you, isn't it, Sabine?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, thank you.
And we should say on Facebook, she's known as Beanbird. That's your nickname. But I don't feel comfortable using that name, Sabine.
You know, in this country, everyone has nicknames. Every word is abbreviated. It's just one of these things. Like either way is fine. Only if you want to find me on Facebook, it's definitely under Bean. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my mother gave me the name of Lee. She told me once that one of the reasons she chose that name, you couldn't make a nickname out of Lee.
Yeah.
And then when I got in high school, everybody called me Doc, and that upset her because they still come up with a nickname.
Yep. There's always a way.
I don't know how I got that nickname, but anyhow, she was quite upset about that. Let's see. We got some comments out here. Let's see what we've got. Jerry Brick. Just got on here trying to catch up, listening from Kansas. Okay, Jerry. Yeah.
Odex.
How do you pronounce that? You're European.
Well, that is true, but the English way would be Odex, because I think they do pronounce the X in the end.
I had more French than I'd like to admit to, because I don't know. And Jane, bless her heart, one of our good followers. My goodness, she must be up early in the morning out there. Best wishes and wonderful endeavors for your personal cycling goals, Sabine. Hello from Southern California. My goodness, it's 5 o'clock in the morning out there. Jane, don't you ever sleep? Well, I guess you're an ultra cyclist. Maybe that answers that question.
Good time to get riding.
Oh, thank you, people, for responding here. I was beginning to wonder if we had anybody out there or not, but we do.
Difficult time for both of us.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Thanks so much, Jane. We and we're going to get Jane on here sometime. I promised her that. I just haven't reached out and touched base with her about that. Not to feel sorry for myself, just to say that doing the show is a small part of it. Getting contacts, getting schedules worked out, and all that kind of stuff. As you know, you've been on the other end of that, Sabine. That takes a lot of effort on our part, and you have to be at it all the time. And once in a while, with some of the things been going on in our lives, we get a little bit behind, and then
totally
we're trying to catch up at the moment.
Good. Now, you and Jim were doing a great job with the RAAM show. So thank you.
Well, we're having a lot of fun. I'll say that. I don't know. I hope we're doing some good. I hope we're making people more aware of each other. Valerio keeps talking about. Now I'm inspired. Hang out to ride soon. Okay, Jay, good for you. Stop watching this show and get out on your bike. What the heck, Oh,
as long as there's no snow for you guys.
Yeah. You've had, I should say, Joanna's had some severe weather there in New Zealand, some flooding and what have you. I think she's okay. But, we've had just crazy weather all over the world, it seems like. So, you know how to follow Sabine now, OhioRAAMshow.com. You'll find her website. You'll find more about the Cycling Foundation she's working with there. We're just tickled to death to have you back with us, Sabine. We count you as one of our very good friends.
Thank you very much. Likewise.
And
Always happy to come
we
back.
hope you'll be in touch. Don't ever hesitate to reach out and say, hey, I'm involved in this, or I'm going to do that, because we like to stay in touch. Jerry Brick, you
Yeah,
and Jim do a great job with the show.
I
Thank you,
agree,
Jerry.
Jerry.
We appreciate that. And great work, Sabine.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot.
Jerry. You've made our day. I can wrap this show up with great pleasure now, since I've had my ego stroked a little bit. And believe it or not, we do have one, maybe a lot. We wouldn't be on here if we didn't, would we?
Yes, that is very true.
Oh, we're
But
having a lot of fun here, Sabine. Let's. I hate to bring this to an end, but I think we better, because I've got other things to do here this morning, and I'm sure you do as well.
Thanks, Lee.
And stay in touch, Sabine. We'll be
I will.
watching.
I shall.
Yeah, Jerry says see us next week. Thank you, Jerry. Why does everybody wait till the end of the show to start making comments? I don't know. I guess they
Say
just.
hi to Jim.
Yeah, yeah. I will say hi, Jim. We have kind of a standing joke between us about. Hey, someone just followed us on Facebook, and I'm tickled about that. And we want to make sure that you do follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and we're gaining followers there. We're about to hit some kind of a goal on Facebook, but we won't say any more about that, because it's kind of like a no-hitter in baseball. If you say something about it, then it doesn't happen. But we're getting close, Sabine.
Yeah, no doubt. You just keep chipping away, one
Just
RAM after another.
You know, we'll never go viral because I've said before, this is probably an exaggeration. There's only 10,000 people in the world who know anything about ultra cycling, and half of them don't care. So, the audience is kind of small to begin with, but we're trying to help do something about that.
Absolutely.
Sabine, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank everybody for viewing. We appreciate all those of you who commented. We've had great fun. Sabine, don't go away. Just stick by. We're going to say goodbye to the virtual audience, and we'll chat here for a little bit when we get out of here.
Thanks for listening.
Greg Zuber, what a great guy. He's going to send us out as he always does.
Morena, Sabine.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music.
Push the wrong button there. Goodbye.